5 years into our marriage, I finally asked Liam for a divorce. He paused, his pen hovering over the contract he was signing. Why? He asked. I lowered my eyes. My family went bankrupt. Bankrupt. Which meant I was of no more use to him. And, I added, I smelled gardenia perfume on your coat. The scent was so strong. And he was such a stickler for cleanliness. He would never let anyone get that close to him. I had been so foolishly in love, thinking that if I just married him, if we just spent enough time together, he might eventually grow to love me. He had once told me, "Do you really think that just because you married me, I'll fall in love with you?" Now, I was finally letting go. The news of my family's bankruptcy came while I was organizing his clothes. My mother's voice trembled on the phone. After a long, choked silence, she finally said, "Chloe, our family, we're bankrupt." The coat in my hands suddenly felt as if it weighed a ton and slipped from my grasp. As it fell, a pleasant scent of gardenia filled the air. But I never wore gardenia perfume. I struggled to speak. "Mom, don't worry. I have money. I can sell my bags. That will help." On the other end of the line, my mother's voice was thick with tears. "It's not enough. Your father still owes $70 million. My head was spinning. "Well, we can pay it off in installments." I had never been in a situation like this before. After the call ended, I finally broke down. My husband was cheating. My family was in debt. In that moment, I deeply regretted having been such a vapid, airhead heiress. My mind filled with nothing but romance. It wasn't until evening that Liam came home. The moment he walked in, he started signing contracts, as if he didn't even see me. Only when I stood directly in front of him did he finally look up. I took a deep breath. "Liam, let's get a divorce." The pen in his hand finally stopped. He looked at me and then let out a sneer. The same look he always gave me, as if he were looking at a fool. "Why?" "My family went bankrupt." Bankrupt. Which meant I was of no more use to him. "And I smelled gardenia perfume on your coat." The scent was so strong. And he was such a stickler for cleanliness. He would never let anyone get that close to him. After I said this, for the first time, his face was a complete blank. I pursed my lips and handed him the divorce papers. "Just sign it. I had someone go over all the terms. See if they're to your satisfaction." Liam finally moved, taking the papers from my hand. He was handsome. At 27, his charm had not faded. In fact, he had a new maturity that made him even more attractive. He only glanced at the papers before placing them on the table. "Chloe, I think we can face this problem together, instead of just going our separate ways at a time like this." I smiled. "But, Liam, you don't love me. Why won't you sign the papers?" Now that we were together, it was a hassle. My heart, in that moment, couldn't help but beat a little faster. After all, I had loved him for 10 years. Could it be? But his only response was a sigh. "I don't want to lie to you, but you look so much like her." "Like who?" He wouldn't tell me. But the next day, my mother called, her voice filled with a giddy excitement. "Chloe, your father's debts have been paid off." It was Liam. "Do you think he's starting to fall for you? I mean, you've been together for 7 years. He must have by now." My face paled, my hand clutching the phone trembling, because I could see him. He was right outside his office, in a black suit, with a beautiful woman by his side. Young, beautiful. She was smiling brightly, in a white dress, her voice like sunshine. "Liam, is Daisy still around?" He had a smile on his face I had never seen before. Yes, I knew Daisy. She was a little mutt. I used to love playing with her, but whenever he saw me, he would take her away. I had once asked him, heartbroken, "Liam, I know you don't like me, but can't I even play with your dog?" He had frowned, his face full of impatience. "No, why not?" After I had asked him 10 times, he had finally answered, "Because she was a gift from someone very important to me." Daisy was very well taken care of. Even when he was at his poorest, he had always fed her the best dog food. I hung up the phone and opened my camera. I carefully compared my face to the woman's. I looked so much like her. The eyes, the lips. But her face was purer, more intelligent than mine. The woman skipped and then, on her tiptoes, she kissed him on the lips. His face slowly turned red, like a young boy in the first throes of love. My slow mind finally put it all together. I was just a substitute. No wonder that when I had offered him money to marry me, he had been so disgusted, had said such cruel things, but had still agreed. At the time, another, richer woman had also been trying to be with him, but he had refused her. I had laughed and said, "Liam, don't regret this. I only have this much. That other woman has much more." He had frowned. "I'm not for sale." At the time, he had been staring at my face. I had thought it was because I was prettier than the other woman. It was just because I looked so much like his white moonlight. I don't know how I got home. It was as if I had lost my soul. I still had to pay him back. He had paid off my father's debts, and I had to repay him. In my 25 years, I had never had to worry about money. But now, for the first time, I did. I thought for a long time, then started to sell all my designer bags and anything of value. I managed to get over $1 million. I put all the money on a single card and then packed up all my things. I couldn't stay here anymore. My mother used to say that though I wasn't very bright, I had one good quality. I knew when to quit. What if he wanted to bring his white moonlight back here? Of course, I had to make way for them. But just as I was leaving, I ran into him. And not just him. The woman who had kissed him that day was with him. She smiled brightly. "Hello. My name is Ella." Ella. Oh, I remembered. I had heard that name before. It was on the Sky Lantern he and I had released that year. At the time, I had been stunned, watching as he wrote her name, word by word. I had asked, "Ella, wishing you happiness every day." "Who's Ella?" That day, under a sky full of lanterns, his voice had been bitter. "Someone very important in my life." I hadn't asked who. After all, the past was the past. I was the one by his side now. And on that day, after he had released the lantern, he had leaned down and kissed me. And now, here I was, like a pathetic clown, standing there, forcing a smile. "My name is Chloe." He saw my packed suitcase and frowned. "Where are you going so late?" I blinked, trying to hold back the tears. But I had always been a crybaby. I couldn't help it. "I'm going to a hotel." How embarrassing. In front of my cheating husband and his mistress. I couldn't even hold back my tears. He took the suitcase from my hand. "Why are you going to a hotel?" I wiped my tears. "You're cheating. I'm making way for you, so I don't have to be disgusted." His expression froze for a second. Then he said to her, "I'm sorry. I need to talk to her alone." In the room, his face was cold. "She has a child. There's nothing between us anymore." "There never was," he said, his expression desolate. "And there never will be." I raised my hand and slapped him across the face. "Get out. You're so disgusting. And I actually liked you for 5 years. That night, I moved into a hotel. No matter what he said, I didn't go back. Finally, he said coldly, "Fine. Go. Just don't come crying to me to take you back." I choked. His personality was very cold. Before, whenever he was angry, I was always the one who had to beg him to talk to me. Once, I had spent the whole day with a friend and hadn't come home. He had been furious. His anger was just the silent treatment. I had to coax him for a week before he would even look at me. After that, I never dared to stay out all day again. The people in our circle would joke, "Other men are henpecked. But with you, it's the other way around." I would just shrug and smile helplessly. "He's just possessive. It means he loves me." I sneered. "Don't worry. I won't come looking for you." With that, I handed him the card. "I'll pay you back. The 70 million. There's 1.7 million in here now." His face turned ashen. "You're talking to me about money." I nodded. "Yes. If not now, when?" "By the way," I looked at him. "In a few days. Let's go get the divorce certificate." "I'm serious." The moment those words left my mouth, his expression changed. He stood there, his breathing uneven. "Divorce." I didn't look at him again, just walked away. For the next few days, I stayed in the hotel, memories of the past flooding my mind. When I had asked for a divorce, it had been on impulse. Now that I thought about it, my heart ached. I had liked him for so long. The word, divorce, it felt like a stone in my chest. But no matter what, life had to go on. I sent out a few resumes and was finally hired by a company for an internship. A few days later, while I was working part-time at a jewelry store, I ran into him again. He was with Ella. They were very close. A handsome couple. He saw me too. His friends started to jeer. "Hey, Sis. In. Law. Fancy seeing you here. Ella gave a gentle smile. It's Chloe. Right. I saw you at your wedding 5 years ago. Though you didn't see me, I remembered you. So, she had been a part of my life for 5 years already. This time, he didn't act like before. His face was cold, and he snapped at the man who had called me sis. In. Law. Don't call her that. His pride was very strong. After what I had said last time, he was holding a grudge. To make matters worse, my manager was nagging me. Chloe, do the customers want to try on some rings? Don't you have any social skills? Go help them. I bit my lip. Would you like to try on some rings? He had always been good at controlling his emotions, never crossing the line, even when he was angry. But this time, he said, yes, please. Help Ella try on some rings. I'll buy whatever she wants. Her face lit up with surprise. I nodded and took her to the display case. She took her time, deliberately making things difficult for me. Before finally choosing a matching set of rings, she put on the woman's ring, a triumphant smile on her face. It suits me so well. She then turned around. Liam, you should try yours on too. It suits you. I put the ring on his finger. A wave of nausea washed over me. Disgusting. I looked up. The total is 87,000. Will that be card or mobile payment? After he paid, I looked at him. By the way, Liam, I took off my own ring. Here, you can have this back. His face paled. Even his friends, who had been jeering, fell silent. Finally, he spoke. I don't take back gifts. I nodded and threw the ring in the trash. Have a nice day. His face stiffened. He said to the others, let's go. After he left, I ran to the bathroom and threw up. I kept vomiting until my stomach was empty. I looked up. The mirror reflected my pathetic state. I wanted to cry, but I found that I had no more tears. He wasn't worth crying over. When I came out of the bathroom, my manager said, that was a big sale. But, Chloe, are you okay? You look terrible. I rubbed my eyes and smiled. I'm fine. The past 5 years. Today, when he had brought her to buy rings, it had all become a joke. I threw away everything that had to do with him. As I got rid of each item, it was as if I were getting rid of a memory. That day, after he and Ella left, he had called me again. He sounded like he regretted it. His voice slurred with alcohol. Chloe, I only bought her the ring to make you angry. You were being so unreasonable. I wanted to teach you a lesson. I didn't want to buy it for her, but you kept provoking me. He was drunk. I just had a whole bottle of hard liquor. My stomach hurts when I drink. I saw the medicine you left for me, and I thought of you. He had a stomach condition but would never take his medicine. So I had bought a lot of it and placed it in every corner of the living room, so he could always find it. At the time, he had laughed at me. Can you stop being such a mother hen? And now, he was using the medicine as an excuse to call me. I lowered my eyes. Liam, you just make me sick. With that, I hung up. After burning the last postcard, I took a deep breath. It's time to move on. Before, I had been so single-minded. Once I had set my sights on someone, that was it. But a broken heart knows pain, and I didn't want to hurt for him anymore. On Sunday, I had some free time, so I called him. Let's go get the divorce certificate today. But there was no answer on the other end. Just as I was thinking there was a problem with my connection, a voice came through. It was a muffled sound. I'm not getting a divorce. Chloe, you're just angry right now. I'll wait for you to cool down. I had to laugh. Get lost. You make me sick. Anyway, there are many ways to get a divorce. I don't mind seeing you in court. After I said that, the line went dead. I looked at my phone. He had hung up. For the next while, I didn't bother with him. In my heart, we were already over. I wasn't a masochist. I didn't want to go back. One day, my best friend, Maya, invited me to a party. I realized it had been a long time since I had gone to a party with her, and it was a weekend. At the party, I ran into a few familiar faces. The news that he was with Ella had spread quickly. I got a lot of sympathetic looks. I downed a glass of wine in frustration. What's with all the looks? Maya put her arm around me. Chloe, everyone knows how hard you chased him. And now that you're finally married, he's cheating on you. Of course, they're going to feel sorry for you. I lowered my eyes and gave a bitter smile. When I was chasing him, it was true. Everyone in our circle knew. I would bring him homemade meals, and he would complain they were tasteless. So I would go and learn from others. I had pursued him with such intensity, with such recklessness, and now that we were separated, all I got were looks of pity. Just then, Maya froze. Chloe, he's here. I hadn't expected him to come to this party. He had always hated parties. Even when I had gone to parties, he would always frown and ask, "Why do you always have to go to parties? You always dress up so much. It makes me insecure." At the time, to soothe his insecurity, I had rarely gone to parties with Maya. But looking back now, how much of what he had said was true. He was in a white suit. The moment he walked in, he was surrounded by people. Maya sneered. "He's so full of himself. He didn't even look at the others." He walked straight to me. "If you've calmed down, come home with me." This was the first time he had ever shown any sign of giving in. Before, it was always me who had to go to him. "Why do you think I'm just angry?" I stared at him. "Liam, cheating is a matter of principle. It's either once or a million times. I'm not going back with you." The room was full of people, and he had a reputation to uphold. The atmosphere was tense. Finally, he let go. He lowered his eyes, and after looking at me with an expression of extreme frustration, he turned and left. The room immediately started to buzz. Wait, did he come to this party just to find her? I thought she was just wasting her time chasing him. Looks like it paid off. Maya sneered. "They're just a bunch of gossips. Don't pay them any mind." Chloe, "Of course I wouldn't." Halfway through the party, there was a commotion at the entrance. A large crowd rushed towards the door. Maya poked me and whispered, "Chloe, do you know why so many big names from the industry are here tonight?" I put down my glass. My curiosity piqued. As the man at the door walked in, I heard Maya's voice. "Because the host of this party is the most famous tycoon in our circle, Nathan." As Maya's voice faded, I saw the man at the door clearly. In an instant, my throat went dry. When Nathan looked up, he saw me too. His deep eyes were fixed on me. This look, it was more intense, more possessive than 5 years ago, and filled with a longing I could hardly comprehend. Then, he strode towards me. His voice was low, like a cello. "Long time no see." Maya almost fainted. "What?" "Chloe, you know Nathan." How should I put it? Nathan and I were childhood sweethearts. Our families were so close that we had even been engaged as children. He had always been by my side, like a protective older brother. But then, in college, I had met Liam. Compared to Nathan, I preferred Liam's cool, aloof personality. So I had made a scene and had our engagement called off. Everyone had tried to talk me out of it, but at the time, he hadn't said a word. He had just gone with me to the family meeting. He had said, "Chloe, your happiness is the most important thing. Who you like is your right. I can't keep you tied to me." With his help, though the process was difficult, the engagement was eventually called off. The moment we walked out of the meeting, his voice was filled with a pleading tone. "Chloe, if you're ever unhappy, will you look at me? I'll always be behind you." At the time, I had frowned. "Nathan, I like Liam. You should find someone else." After the engagement was called off, I only heard that he had gone abroad to expand his business. On my wedding day, he had not shown up. He had been abroad for 5 years. And now, he was finally back. I stood up. "Long time no see." He was more mature than 5 years ago. His eyes seemed to hold the depth of a spring lake, even more stunning than before. Once, I had laughed and said to him, "Nathan, has anyone ever told you that your eyes are beautiful?" At the time, he had shaken his head. "No." Later, when I asked the others, they all said, "Gentle as water." You must be talking about when he looks at you. When he looks at anyone else, his eyes are like ice. Pulling myself from my memories, I asked, "Are you back because your business abroad is well established?" He looked at me, his eyes filled with a possession I had never seen before. "Yes and no." I blinked. "Chloe, what if I told you I came back to steal you away?" His words were so direct. They caught me completely off guard. After we left the party, the way people looked at me had changed. After all, Nathan was an even more dazzling figure than Liam. So Chloe has Nathan behind her. I heard they were engaged as children, but they called it off. He ignored the whispers and looked at me. "I'll drive you." I was about to refuse, but Maya cut me off. "That's great. Nathan, Please take care of our Chloe. He smiled. Please. Get in. Chloe. I had no choice but to get in his car. He buckled my seatbelt for me. Whether it was intentional or not, he was very close. So close I could smell the fresh, clean scent of cedarwood on him. Our breaths mingled. I turned my head slightly, but my lips accidentally brushed against his forehead. I stared, wide-eyed. I heard his muffled laugh. Chloe, I was just trying to buckle your seatbelt. My face instantly turned red. Compared to 5 years ago, he was much more aggressive. He quickly started the car. But then, my phone rang. It was Liam. I answered, and all I could hear on the other end was his heavy breathing. He sounded like he was furious. His voice was like ice. Chloe, who are you with right now? One word at a time. His voice trembling. I frowned. Who I'm with is none of your business. His voice continued. I was near your car just now. I saw you two kissing. I looked up, and sure enough, not far from Nathan's car, I saw him. The white suit. It was very conspicuous. I hung up. In the car, his cheerful voice said, I can't believe he saw that. He's not going to blame me, is he? I rubbed my temples. He has no right to. After he dropped me off, he unbuckled my seatbelt and stared at me. See you tomorrow. I nodded. But I never expected that when I got to my apartment, there would be someone else waiting for me. It was Liam. The white suit was still on him. He stared at me, his eyes bloodshot. Chloe, what do you mean by this? This Liam. He was a stranger. Before, he had never shown such an out of control expression. He had always said that there was nothing in this world that was worth losing his composure over. And now, his eyes were red. Chloe, give me an explanation. My face was impassive. Liam, we are over. Whatever I do now has nothing to do with you. By the way, if there is anything that has to do with you, it's the money. Yesterday, I remembered something. The villa my father bought for us. It's worth $70 million on the market now. Right. So, Liam, if you sell it, you won't be at a loss. The moment I finished speaking, he roared. I'm not selling. He stared at me. Chloe, we have so many good memories in that villa. His eyes were red. That villa. We lived there for 3 years. 3 years. From the day we got married, we had lived in that villa. There. We had planted flowers together. Fed the goldfish together. There. He had once kissed me and said he wanted to be with me forever. It was true. That villa held so many memories. But I lowered my eyes and gave a sarcastic smile. Mr. Hayes, don't be like that. Your white moonlight must be waiting for you at home, right? His face finally showed a flicker of regret. Chloe, there's nothing between us. Today, I can pretend nothing happened. As long as you're willing to come back with me. Liam is such a jerk. Before, when I was with him, when I was trying so hard to please him, he had looked down on me, had even used me as a substitute. And now that I wanted to leave him, he regretted it. Get lost. I saw him at my door. He must have been sitting there all night. When he saw me, he stood up. But he was so weak he fell to the ground. Chloe. His voice was pleading. But I just said, please move. I need to get out. By the way, if you're still here when I get back, I'm calling security. I didn't look at his desolate expression. Just left. When I finished work for the day, it was already evening. I never expected that he would be waiting for me at the office building. When he saw me, he smiled, then handed me a bouquet of flowers. Maya told me you were working here. In my arms were a bouquet of fragrant lilies, their scent rich and intoxicating. In the car, I remembered what had happened yesterday and couldn't help but blush. When I got home, he was still stubbornly sitting at my door. I was holding the lilies, the smile still on my face. When I saw him, my expression froze. He gave a bitter smile. Did he bring you home? I frowned in annoyance, took out my phone, and called security. Under the lights, he looked so fragile. Chloe, you weren't like this before. With that, he started to cry. This was the first time I had ever seen him cry. He was like a child, completely losing his composure. Chloe, are you going to abandon me? I ignored him. In my eyes, he was no different from a madman. He was finally dragged away by security. For the first time, his proud face was filled with a look of desolation. A month passed. Nathan would pick me up from work every day. I felt my heart slowly starting to open up a soft spot for him. I hadn't seen him in a month, which was a relief. Until one night, when I was making hot pot with Nathan, I got a call from one of his friends. The other end of the line was very quiet. His friend's voice came through. Sis. In. Law. Did you and him have a fight? He's been crying all day. When I got to his place, he was just lying on the floor, reeking of alcohol. When he saw me, he was stunned for a moment. Then he just hugged me and cried. He was calling your name, and his hand was bleeding. He was clutching a diary. I tried to take a look, but he wouldn't let me. Hey, sis. In. Law. Do you want to come and see him? A diary. I remembered. I had written a very thick diary, all about our 5 years together. It was all the little things, like what he liked to eat, what he couldn't eat. I had observed him carefully, noting which dish he took an extra bite of, which one made him frown. I remembered it all. In that diary, I had written so many sweet things about us. I would even draw little illustrations. When he had seen it, he had sneered. So childish. Before, when I loved him, I had been willing to endure it. I don't know when it started, but the sweet things in the diary became fewer and fewer. In the end, I couldn't find a single sweet thing in my real life to write about. On the other end of the line, his friend's voice continued. Sis. In. Law. Are you going to come see him? Just then, Nathan's voice sounded. Chloe, do you want some tripe? His voice was clear and gentle. Then, the sound of a breaking bottle came through the phone. His voice, laced with anger. He's with you. It's 11 at night, and you're still together. Chloe, don't tell me you're living together. Nathan raised an eyebrow. Chloe, he's so fierce. His voice was teasing, a little provocative. Then, I heard something being thrown, and him screaming. Don't you touch her. I sighed. Liam, I don't want to get any more calls from you, unless you're calling to get the divorce certificate. By the way, if it comes to it, I can also file for a divorce. After hanging up, I looked at Nathan. His expression was innocent. Tripe. I nodded. Yes. After hot pot, it was already midnight. Nathan and I talked a lot about the past. He was lying on the sofa. The sofa in this apartment was very big enough to accommodate a 6-foot man. I turned off the lights and walked over to him. Good night. But my wrist was caught. His eyes were sparkling. Chloe, you haven't said no to me yet. Does that mean I still have a chance? His eyes were like a deep pool of water. For many years, he had looked at me with the same eyes, had been with me, had walked through the years with me. I nodded. Yes. My future years should not have a shadow in them. He couldn't help but hug me. His heart was beating fast. I belatedly realized that my neck was cold. He was crying. Tears traced a path down my neck. I said, Nathan, don't cry. He just buried his head in my neck. After a long time, his muffled voice said, this time, I'm not letting go. His voice was filled with a possessive tone. This time, you're the one who gave me a chance. Don't think I'll let you go. 5 years ago, I let you go, and you weren't happy. I've regretted it every day since. I don't know who kissed who first, but in the end, he finally stopped crying. The next day, I saw him at my door again. It had only been a month since I had last seen him, but he was much thinner. Unlike before, he had been carefully groomed then. Now, he reeked of alcohol. He was just sitting at my door, surrounded by empty bottles. When he saw me, his face was finally filled with a look of despair. The shoes at the door, they're his, aren't they? Did he sleep at your place yesterday? I didn't speak. But then Nathan came out of the house. His face was a picture of satisfaction. When he saw me, he asked affectionately, Chloe, I'm going to get you some porridge. I remember you used to love the porridge from that shop. As if he had only just noticed. He looked at him, who was sitting on the floor, and said with surprise, isn't that Mr. Hayes? Have you been sitting on the floor all night? His face was ashen, his eyes downcast. The air was so still you could hear a pin drop. After a long time, he finally looked up. Chloe, you used to love me so much, and now you've just let go. How am I supposed to live? He said this, his face streaked with tears. Chloe, how could you just let go of me like that? I took a deep breath. Liam, don't act like you're so devoted. You were the one who cheated first. It's no use coming to me now. By the way, we should go get the divorce certificate in the next few days. Otherwise, I'll see you in court. A few days later, he still went with me to get the divorce certificate. After leaving the Civil Affairs Bureau, he looked as if all the strength had been drained from him. He collapsed to the ground. I remembered when we had gone to get our marriage certificate. At the time, I had smiled and said, "We're going to be together forever." He had said coldly, "Who knows what will happen? Very few people stay together forever." I had pouted and said he was a killjoy. But when we were taking the picture, he couldn't help but smile. It was a small smile, but it was captured by the camera. Now, I was holding a divorce certificate, and beside me, Nathan, who had been waiting for a long time, was there. He saw the certificate in my hand, and a smile touched his lips. "Let's go." Behind me, I heard his voice. "Chloe." I turned and saw his red-rimmed eyes. "Will you ever think of me in the future?" I turned back. "No. A person like you is not worth remembering. It's too disgusting." Beside me, I heard his voice. "He's so shameless, saying such disgusting things. Unlike me, Chloe." I couldn't help but smile and play along. "You're the best." A year later, Nathan and I got married. He gave me the grandest wedding, filled with my favorite lilies. Maya was doing my makeup, chattering excitedly. "I'm expecting a big red envelope for being your bridesmaid." I laughed. "Let him give it to you." Many people came to the wedding today, all from our circle. But I also saw him. He had come uninvited. Nathan saw him and frowned. "What is he doing here?" I frowned. "An ex-husband at your current wedding." It was indeed very disgusting. I walked up to him. "If I remember correctly, Mr. Hayes was not invited to this wedding, was he?" My words were not at all polite. His face was filled with disappointment. "Can't I even come and see you?" I smiled. "One word at a time." "No, because it would make me sick." Nathan had security kick him out. Before he left, his face was ashen, as if his soul had been sucked out. Nathan sneered. "What's he pretending for? Hasn't he been with her for the past year?" It was true. For the past year, he had been with her. I had only heard that she had used some not so honorable means to get him to be with her. She had exposed him online, saying how good he had been to her, how much he had liked her. But just because she had a child, he had abandoned her. The story had gone viral, but netizens had also dug up her identity as a mistress. He, under pressure from public opinion, had married her, but he had not even given her a wedding. This not so honorable means. It had become a joke in our circle. Their reputations were not very good. No one in our circle looked up to them. After all, in the past year, he had been drinking heavily, and his company was not doing well. And with the public opinion, his company's stock had also fallen. But none of this had anything to do with me anymore. I took his hand. His hand was very warm. "Nathan, from now on, we're going to be together forever." He lowered his eyes. Of course. The way he looked at me had never changed, just like before. Liam's story. That day, after her wedding, he started to drink every day, much more heavily than before. The people around him all tried to persuade him not to drink so much, that it was bad for his health. He would frown, always feeling that if he didn't drink, there was an emptiness in his heart. Besides, the face he went home to, though it looked so much like hers, was also so different. That face didn't have her playful innocence. She wouldn't make him sobering soup, wouldn't tell him to drink less, but she would. Every time he compared them, he would miss her so much. Actually, he had met her in a bar. She had been raised to be a delicate flower, in a designer dress, sitting on a sofa, laughing happily. She was beautiful, especially under the scent of brandy that day. She was intoxicatingly beautiful. He knew who she was. A good for nothing. A spoiled little rich girl. A ditz. But, on closer inspection, she looked so much like his unobtainable white moonlight. His heart had skipped a beat. He was smart, realistic. His white moonlight had gone abroad and had a new marriage. He could never have her. So, that day, he had deliberately appeared in her line of sight with his friends. She was indeed a ditz. She was immediately captivated by his looks and, with the encouragement of her friends, had shyly asked for his contact information. "Hello, my name is Chloe. Can I add you as a friend?" Amidst the jeers of the others, he had taken out his phone. "I don't just add anyone." Later, every step she took was within his expectations. Her clumsiness, her playful innocence, She was really stupid. That day, when he saw her trying to make him a birthday cake, he had thought so, but he had still said, "Let me help you." He had done an even worse job than her. He didn't know why, but that day's birthday cake had turned into a deliberate competition. In the end, he had made a beautiful birthday cake. He had looked down at her cake. It was ugly, misshapen, like something a witch from a fairy tale would make. But she had still said, "Wow, Liam, you're so good at this." At that moment, his heart felt as if it had been squeezed, a slight sourness in it. No one had ever said that to him before. And in that moment, when he looked at her, his heart had skipped a beat for her, but he didn't know it. He had liked her, and even his being with her was mostly because she looked like her. After she came back, and he knew she was divorced, he had not thought about marrying her. The white moonlight of his youth was important, but not as important as the one at home. He admitted that after she came back. He had been lucky. He and her had gotten close, but the closer they got, the more he realized that at some point, the person he liked had become her. So, when she had first proposed a divorce, he had been a little flustered, but he couldn't refuse her. The white moonlight was once unobtainable, high up in the sky. After she came back, she had lowered herself and became tangible. He wanted both the white moonlight and the cinnabar mole at the same time. He was so realistic, so greedy. So, in the end, it had led to an irreversible outcome.